Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and we're going to be talking about everything that you do online has a digital footprint. There is no privacy. That's Johnny nonsense. That's a talking point. That's Bernaysian subtext that's put out by the tech overlords themselves. We're going to demonstrate that when talking about Meta, Facebook, the Metaverse, and much more. Okay, that's very, very important. And we are going to start by highlighting ex-Facebook employee and military veteran sues Meta for $3 million, claiming he was fired for whistleblowing after social media giant shared user deleted messages with law enforcement. And this comes back to an incident in 2019. It's really funny because we're going to show you a video that I did almost 3 years to the day. And actually, I think there might have been a leap year in there. Could have been July 10th, 2019, how your phone spies on you to let you know, hey, your digital footprint, it doesn't just include everything you do on the magic box that you post and then delete. It involves everything you do around the magic box via automated content recognition, ACR, okay, AVR, automated voice recognition, ASR, automated speech recognition. Are you starting to get into it? So they are literally tapping into your device, and then they're not saying they're recording everything because they're using different programs and algorithms that don't specifically hear and get around things. One of the tools is called Alfonso. Okay, and if you don't know what Alfonso is, you wouldn't be alone. But Alfonso, the hidden app that records everything you say, and it's more than phones. It's your smart devices, it's your television sets, it's your Echoes, right? Your Google speakers. It's all of it because they are Trojan horse civilian systems for the National Security Agency. And when you look at these incidents, they had certain software and protocols, and of course those were breached as well. And there's no doubt that this guy got fired for raising concerns about it, saying, hey, I thought that we were in charge of our own data, right? And we're going to play a video clip again of the talking points right here of this person right here on the left, okay, basically telling you how you're going to be able to set the privacy settings for your data. That's all bull. And later on, when another individual at this World Economic Forum on the Metaverse, remember, they have an entire page on the World Economic Forum's page. The Davos crowd is full in on the Metaverse. They're trying to usher in what they believe is the virtual age with its own economy, with its own digital identity that will get you to merge with this system via transhumanism. Wake up and smell the coffee beans, folks. This is a living reality, okay? And when we look at this guy, he laughs. He laughs it. He thinks it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Oh, some people take the right steps. Oh, they do? Well, I mean, for instance, we got a Graphene OS phone right here, right? You can do that to your phone. You can get Lineage on there and a bunch of other ones based on Linux. It's funny, I saw Zach Voorhees today, the Google whistleblower, speaking over at Clay Clark's event, and he actually mentioned, he's like, well, you know, you could probably go get a Chinese phone. China will have your data, but will the CIA? I would argue everyone's getting your data, and they have since pre-9/11. We're going to talk about Hepting versus AT&T as well. We're going to play a subsection of Invisible Empire. What I need you to do is thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share before we get started. I want to remind everybody, we've been demonetized for about 3 years. It's incredible. Actually, on this video that we're going to show you, I'm going to show you something. Wow, that's a super chat. When I could still get super chats 3 years ago. So it's been a little under 3 years. But you can find me uncensored at Rockfin. You can find me uncensored over at Podbean, also in audio formats. Got a nice RSS feed. We're rumbling. We rumbling. If they ever do take the YouTube channel down, well, we've backed it up over at Odyssey. So those are all really important things to know. Let's get into it. Let's play this clip from Davos, the World Economic Forum, where Aaron Sorkin, who's the moderator, is like, is there a way to do it where you're going to be able to own your own data? That's not even a thing. Okay, this guy talks all the way around it. That's not even a thing. Of course you're not going to be able to own your own data. Don't you know how this system works? We're exploiting you. We own you. Okay? But he does so in a manner where he tells you this lie again, where you're going to be able to have your own privacy settings. There is no privacy. You always leave a digital footprint. Now, whether that digital footprint is yours, well, if you're using your account, right, or anything associated with your account, even if it's a dummy account associated with a real email or a real bank account or a real geolocation or real automated content recognition via Alfonso and other spy devices. And we're not even getting into like Pegasus, right? The Israeli spyware that's been found on a ton of these devices. We're not even getting into that. We're just talking about the stuff you can commercially buy. So let's hear what Mr. Metaverse, Mr. Facebook has to say about you and your data.
Is there a way to do it where the user owns their own data? I mean, one of the sort of benefits of Web3, some of the blockchain things that we've talked about that may exist in terms of layering on top of this, there's this idea that maybe you could own your own data and even maybe sell it to maybe a Meta or to...
See, he's even smirking. He's like, no chance. And again, even that blockchain stuff, that's what? To get you accustomed to a digital currency based on zeros and ones that can be tracked, traced, and databased via the blockchain infinitely, and to put you on their systems of digital control, aka things like the World Food Program that is also hooked into what? Your biometric identity. Annie Jacobson, bless her soul, has written about this. I just had a tweet about this where she talks about First Platoon and the surveillance society that they're putting in. In fact, maybe we should just bring that up. Because Annie Jacobson, she's a smart lady. She understands that a lot of this technology was beta tested during the war on terror. I've been talking about that for a very long time, right? That's a reality sauce. That's something we don't really discuss, and we need to. Here she is right here. Everyone, everywhere, afraid of the Pitchfork Rebellion. You're really not hearing about that much. What's going on in Sri Lanka. Maybe I should show you what that is. See, this is why they want it in so bad before they bring in automation and transhumanism, which is why digital surveillance systems are being stealthily constructed everywhere under the premise of the rule of law. How did we get here, and where is this headed? Read First Platoon. Take a look, guys. Things are heating up in Sri Lanka. They want to make sure that you're controlled. That's why all this is being put into place under the guise of Trojan horse civilian system. So is there a way you can own your own data? No, your own privacy. Sure, Facebook.
How do you see that?
So first, the user should control their data. So at any sort of combination of events, the user should have the ability to delete, to understand, and to have controls over how their data is used. The user should understand that having data aggregated means they can have a much more relevant service.
Oh, it's more relevant. Again, if what this person's saying is true, Brennan Lawson, all right, he's a liar. You can delete it. You don't control jack. They can share it with law enforcement at any moment. And I will argue again, you're doing something online. Law enforcement already has it in the sense that it's already databased via the National Security Agency and its subcontractors. Remember in 2018, you found out these guys were already sharing all of your access. All of it. Okay? Yeah, this is it. They're the ones that are selling all this. It's a joke. It's a bad joke, and this guy knows it. So let's continue.
I mean, the exchange of you can have ads that are relevant to you or ones that are generally irrelevant to you is an exchange that comes along with basically agreeing to have data collected in a privacy-safe and aggregated way.
Right.
There is no such thing as a privacy-safe way. That's Johnny nonsense.
But we all, and I'm here in Europe with all of you now, and we all just click on the accept the cookie. Yeah. And even though we now have more, we now
see, he says we don't all do that. I know what we're doing behind the scenes. I take steps to protect my digital identity, and he thinks it's hilarious.
Have more control. We ostensibly have more control, but in some ways we have less control because it's
too
very
complicated.
It's too complicated to actually control. So is there a way to change that dynamic
So
in
again,
the metaverse?
The gentleman to the left of him from the UAE actually kind of tells you the truth in this next clip about it, that we should be educated on it. We're not going to be. Again, Alfonso and ACR, automated content recognition, is something that's never going to be discussed at all. And that's why in a moment we're going to play the majority of this video from 3 years ago now discussing it. But first, listen to what this guy from the UAE has to say, because he's pretty spot on.
So there is this thing, when you go to university, you have this orientation class. You get oriented into what is expected from your university and what you should do. You get that at work. You get that in life in general. You don't get that when you use the internet. So most people are ignorant to what the trade-off is. And that's why we have these problems of, I did not know that I'm giving this much information and this is how it's going to be used against me.
I like how he also phrases it, used against me. He gets it.
To monetize, right? There needs to be a way for us to orient people on what it means first to go to the digital world, not even the metaverse, what it means to use the internet. And this should be something that is in basic education in every single school in the world. Because you need to understand that, okay, you can manage your cookies. You can remove certain things that you don't get targeted. There are ways for you to actually pay and get that service, if there is, if that becomes a business model. And then it becomes the person's choice. If the person says, I actually like it the way that it is right now, I go for it for free, and they can monetize everything from me, then it's a personal choice. Today, people do not have the right for information. They do not understand what is happening and how they're playing a role. They don't have, in many countries, maybe in Europe they do, but and probably in the UAE, the right of access, to access their data and to understand what is being collected, and the right to be forgotten, these rights in that way.
The whole right to be forgotten thing, whoa, whoa, whoa. But now when we're talking about content that goes way beyond the stuff that you even post or delete after posting, right? That sort of thing, that's what I think is important. And that's why we're going to go to this video, again, of myself on July 10th, 2019, talking about the track trace database software that's on your smart devices and phones right now, and most don't know about it. Alfonso and beyond.
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and I got to tell you, it feels like forever that I've been talking about the Track, Trace, and Database Society, and I've been warning people that their phone is 100% spying on them all the time. Not some of the time, all the time. No matter what you think you do to stop it. So, what I want to do is go over this latest article, because this is something I've been covering literally in a way before cell phones were popular. And now the technology has gotten as such that we're going to talk about the ins and outs of automated content recognition, automated speech recognition, automated video object recognition, and even the big data and analytics behind it all. So earlier this week, a report came out that more than 1,000 Android apps harvest data even after you deny the permissions. In other words, you know, Android lets you toggle a little bit more and say, I don't want this to have access to my GPS data. Nonsense. Of course it does. Of course it does. Now, I think it was something like 1,300 apps out of 88,000 tested. Now, I would say this. A lot of these apps don't look like they were tested for the right things at all, but they found things like them taking metadata from photographs and GPS locations. And like I said, they're building a big data profile on you. This is not really new. For instance, if you saw this article back in December of 2017, the headline reads, "The game on your phone may be tracking what you're watching on TV." But what it really was talking about is apps, games, whether they were on your phone or smart devices, etc., that were using ACR software. And this drove me absolutely crazy when they were talking to Facebook, because Facebook and its apps use ACR software. What is it? Automated content recognition. What that essentially means is anything that your phone can take in as data, it will, while you're possibly watching a television show or having another device on. So for me to really explain this, I thought that we would go here and let this gentleman, this is an old video I actually played many parts of this in my We Are Change expose. But he will tell you how they had this is like at least 2 years ago this video came out. He talks about second by second analysis on what people are watching on television through smart devices.
What can I tell you about Alfonso that the world doesn't already know?
Well, the world doesn't know much because you're an obscure software in a niche market with a confused populace that doesn't understand how far technology has gone. So please tell us.
Alfonso is a TV data company. And by one important measure, the biggest TV data company. We collect viewership data on a second by second basis from more devices in more households.
Let me see. Look at that. Do you not see what he says right there? Let's stop it. You think what you're watching on television, oh, maybe my smart device is harvesting data. Everything around you, mobile and living room devices. You know, Alexa was just starting to get big as this company was coming up. All these things are spying on you 24/7, 365. And it's not just going to be your phone. For instance, Facebook, we're going to show it to you, has Portal, which is going to have facial recognition on it. So now it's not only going to map your behavior, which this is what this stuff is doing. It's mapping the behavior around you, building algorithms, building a data profile on you. But then you're going to put another device that's constantly in your home, not only taking in your voice and what you're listening to and what you're going, but then getting your facial recognition and seeing how you act and behave. And all this is going to be artificial intelligence and machine learning. And those are in the Gartner reports. I'm going to show you, usually you pay for these as businesses, but they give you like a little synopsis of what you're going to get in those analytics, and we'll show them to you in a minute.
Than any other company.
And by the way, 30 million households 2 years ago. It's probably a lot more.
That measures TV advertising. We are indexing content and ads 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, across 200 cable channels and broadcast networks, as well as many streaming services.
So again, it's not just cable, it's streaming services, it's your phone, it's your Echo device, it's all of it. It's all of it. They're taking everything in. And remember, the reason we're looking at this is because, yet again, even when you thought, well, I have an Android device, I can just block this stuff off. No. In the back game data, the data game is the big business game. You are the product. Okay? And again, it's right here. So Portal, if you notice, it's a little bit more advanced than just your phone and Skyping and a webcam, in the sense that it's going to follow you around. Again, it's going to read your facial recognitions, and it's going to be on 24/7 in your house. All right? Will people trust Facebook enough to put its new smart speaker in their homes? It's not a speaker. And I don't like those smart speakers, Google Play, and all that other nonsense either. So this is February 2008. Why ACR data is poised to become the future of TV measurement. All right? A brief history of ASR, automated speech recognition. So all of these are coming together. Do you get it? Automated facial recognition is the next step on that. But here's the video object recognition, aka the facial type recognition. All of it. All of it's there. And when I was telling you the top 10 data and analytics technology trends for 2019, it's all augmented analytics, all real time. Please go check this out yourself. Continuous intelligence, explainable AI, all right? The data fabric, I thought this was interesting. Data fabric enables frictionless access and sharing of data in a distribution data environment. And I know a lot of you in there in the chat right now are referring to 5G, which is going to make a lot more of this possible in real time. But I got news for you. We don't even need 5G for this to actually be in real time right now. 5G and its real-time capabilities are going to be more along the lines of automation, self-driving cars, and the exchange of data at a rapid rate.
will stop at nothing to achieve planetary dominance.
I'm an
Whether
idiot,
it be
guys. Sorry.
assassination, wars based on
I apologize for that. And I hate when I do that, guys. Basically, I was telling you there's another. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Great. There's another minute long. Consider buying me a coffee. That's what I was telling you to do. The links are down below. Yeah, we got the audio back, hopefully, guys. So here we go. Here's Invisible Empire, A New World Order to find.
lies, and even a phony environmental movement. So it should come as no surprise that they have been tracking, tracing, and databasing our lives for years. Many people are aware that the Bush administration engaged in warrantless wiretaps on American citizens. What they don't understand is that it has come out in court that all the major telecommunications companies have been secretly storing every piece of data received from our phones and our computers and handing them over to the National Security Agency.
You heard about the government secretly listening in on phone conversations without a warrant, but there is evidence that your email is also being tapped.
The government has been intercepting most emails as part of its terrorist surveillance program. That program has been criticized as illegal because it's missing an important ingredient: search warrants. Several years ago, Klein says he came to suspect that AT&T had installed secret computer gear designed to spy on internet traffic at the request of the National Security Agency.
This is just a small part of the picture, as AT&T was not the only company involved and emails were not the only issue. The NSA was installing Norris Insight systems, which are capable of monitoring billions of bits of internet traffic per second. It was also able to monitor any calls trafficked through its system, all websites visited, all instant messaging, and separate types of transaction records.
The secret room at AT&T contains gear which enables the government to look at every individual message on the internet and analyze exactly what people are doing. Here's another document. It mentions a company called Norris. Norris makes computer software that can swallow and analyze 10 gigabytes of information every second. That means it could go through all the information in all the books in the Library of Congress in a little over 15 minutes.
The documents Klein and others were able to produce were then censored by the NSA.
Bankston isn't allowed to talk about the documents in detail. The government has since had them sealed. But he says what is in there boggles the mind.
We are talking about a substantial portion of all the communications traffic in the United States.
The policies have been shielded by the Obama administration and continue to this day.
Yep, and they continued through the Trump administration as well. I really do want to apologize for the snafu. Hopefully we were only silent for about a minute. Look, guys, you know the deal. The links are down below. Consider buying me a coffee. Check out the other formats: Podbean, Rumble, Rockfin. All my documentary films are free, including the one you just saw. That is Invisible Empire, A New World Order to Find, Shade the Motion Picture, Fabled Enemies, and Loose Change Final Cut. Again, I hate it when I mess up. I hate that minute, but look at that video we just played from 3 years ago. Automated content recognition, okay? Automatic speech recognition. These are big, big deals, and they are part of this spy system and this way that they've run algorithmic, really Bernaysian mind control on many people through what they are aggregated and see. Certainly not a right or left issue. Very much a right and wrong one. I love you guys, and I will see you on the flip side.